DP to 60777 now.
The Claims Guys.
You can claim for free directly to your lender or the Financial Ombudsman, or you can wait for the scheme to be set up by the FCA.
Humber Wave Radio 106.9.
Well, good evening and welcome to Tiger Talk here on Humber Wave Radio and on to Hull and Back podcast in association with The Car Must Go. Thanks to our new sponsors. And if you are looking to sell your car or your van, then get in touch with The Car Must Go because they'd love to hear from you and they can give you a good price for your vehicle. In fact, I think it could be better than the other people that do this sort of thing. So, yes, the car must go.co.uk. You can go onto their website and get your car valued. Thanks to them for sponsoring Tiger Talk. And thanks to all of you for tuning in tonight. We've got a bit of a special show going on, which was Chris's idea. Well done, Chris.
Oh, thank you.
We've dragged Joe in from the gutter. We don't like to have him on here very often, but we've dragged him out the gutter because it was a little bit short this week with people. So we said, come on then, Joe, let's see if you can do what we've asked to do. And we've not told you up to now what we're going to do tonight. So I think it would be right for me to say to Chris, what was your idea and what are you asking us to do tonight?
So it's a little bit on the lines that we did a few weeks ago, where we did the Hull City loan 11, obviously plus subs. So this is Hull City players that we've let go too young. So they can either have been a Hull person, come through the academy, they can be people we've brought in from other clubs into the academy, or even people we've just bought when they were young, but then let them go and they've gone on to have a good career elsewhere. So along those lines.
Yeah, I think it's a really good one. I think it's been, to be honest, we've done a few of these now, and this has probably been my hardest one, I would say. And I don't know why, but it just has been my hardest one because I got somebody in a position and then I had to change them. I got somebody else in a position and then I had to change them. So I'm thinking there's no way this person's better than this person. So I think it's been a bit hard, Chris.
Yeah, there's a couple of positions I struggled with myself. There's a couple that are really easy, but a couple, and then there's a couple where there are good choices, and you're umming and ahhing which one to go with. So, but yeah, I'm happy. I've got my 11, and I've probably got about 6 subs, just players that deserve a mention, really.
Paul is with us, or he will be with us. He's just having a few little technical issues with his computer at the moment. I'm hoping that he's going to join us again soon. Just like say, Louise, that Joe obviously doesn't pay for his heating where he is. He's in student accommodation. They can have it on as high as they want, and it costs them nothing. So that's why he can come on in a vest top tonight, Louise.
I wish my heater goes up to 20 degrees, then it's got a lock on it and we don't get given the pin.
20 degrees? How warm do you want to be, Joe?
20 degrees is room temperature.
20 degrees is as much as my heating's going on. If Sarah puts it on any higher than that, she's in big trouble, let me tell you.
I'd just like to say that, Chris, your explanation of the criteria for tonight is different to the one Adey hastily gave me earlier on. Adey said to me, it's sort of like City players who've gone on and had gone on to bigger and better things after they've left City. It wasn't a let go too young, because I've got players here who we let go when they were like 35.
No. They've got to be younger ones. So,
it'll be my fault. Whatever happens, it'll be my fault, Chris. So just blame me for anything that doesn't work. Evening to you, Sudders. I hope you're all right tonight. Good to have you tuned in. And if anything that goes wrong tonight is all my fault, that's all I'll say, because I've briefed Joe tonight. So, yeah, it's my fault if Joe don't get it right.
Joe, you've got a few minutes to get your thinking cap on then to make them last minutes.
Penny's out. Well, put it this way. I had Alan McGregor in goal, who left Hull City when he was already coming to the end of his career, then went on and had an invincible season with Rangers.
No,
I don't think we let him go too young, given the stage of his career that he was at.
Yeah, players have let go young, like I say, whether they've come through our academy or, like I say, we've signed them as, with potential and then let them go. As we've gone up, they might, let them go to a lower division, but then they've passed us as we've come down, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I might not have got this right, and I've tried my best with it, and I might have messed some of this up because maybe my brief's not as good as it should have been, or whatever.
Well,
I don't know.
Out of my original team, the only player that fits that criteria is Tom Kearney.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I've got him in my team as well.
He's in my team as well. Yeah, I got something right. Paul, has he got something right? Oh, he's looking slightly better. We still haven't got a picture of him, but it does look a little bit better. Ooh. Let's have a look and see if he comes on. We'll see what Paul comes up with, because obviously Paul's the oldest and he's been watching City the longest, and he might remember some young people that might be very old now. So it'll be interesting to see if he comes up with anything different from any of the rest of us. That's if we can actually get him to join us tonight. I'm sure he will do. If he has to get his phone out, he'll do that or whatever. We'll get him on. But yeah, I mean, you get involved. Marsh already has got involved. He said Wayne Jacobs was let go way too early. If you've got some players that City let go too early or went on to have a great career after they left us, then please put them in the comments and we will do our best to get all of them up on the screen for you tonight.
I can see Joe typing away. He's doing his research.
He's doing his research. If you're listening on the radio and you want some messages, you can WhatsApp us on 01482 772 663. I'm hoping Paul gets his internet problems sorted out. I'm sure he will do. He normally does. Can we start just while Paul's sorting himself out and Joe's sorting himself out? Let's start with you, Chris, then, and we'll just go to start with goalkeeper.
Can I just say as well, we need to stop Joe from Googling, because I did this from memory. So he's going to pull out.
You did it from memory? Well, you did it better than me then, Chris, because I Googled.
So I'll go with, goalkeeper then. So I have gone for Roy Carroll as my goalkeeper. Started very young at Hull City, then obviously went over to Manchester United and was backup keeper for a while, but did get a spell as number one. So I've gone for Roy Carroll. A notable mention, my backup keeper was Will Mannion.
Good choices. Yeah. Good choices.
Will Mannion is the goalkeeper I've gone for. He was on my shortlist of original players, but then he slotted straight in once I got the updated proper criteria. No disrespect, Adey.
No, none taken, Joe.
He was, he was a good young prospect when when Steve Bruce wanted to sign him, then walked away because he couldn't stand the Alams any longer, allegedly. And it never happened for him at City, but he's gone on, had a decent career, built himself back up, and he's now in the same division as us.
Yeah, I agree. I've gone for Bose Myhill. And I don't know whether that fits the brief, but he did start with us quite young. And he had a good career with Hull City. But then he went on to have a good career after that, where he was still sort of in the Premier League when we weren't in the Premier League. So Bose Myhill was my choice. Not sure we let him go too early, but we let him go when we had to let him go. We let him go for some money, and he went on to do really well after he'd left Hull City. So that's who I went for. Did it fit the bill, Chris? Can I have him?
We'll let you off because maybe I didn't explain the brief as well as I've done today.
It'll be my fault. Listen, anything that goes wrong is my fault tonight. I've always said that. But he did do very well for us, did Bo. When did he come into us? I'll try and find out exactly. It was definitely in 2004, 2005.
Yeah, he probably had about 5 or 6 years with us, didn't he? So,
yes. I'm just seeing if I can go the year. Yeah, he was with us in 03, 04 as well. And I think that was when he joined, if I'm honest with you. Yeah, it was. 03, 04 was when he joined us. And I think he left us around about 10, 11?
Possibly.
It was around about that, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was maybe 2010 when he left us looking at this. And if we look... So here's what I went for when I was looking at Boas. He went on to play in the Premier League with West Brom. He went from us to West Brom for $3.5 million. He went from West Brom for Birmingham for 2 million. Then he went back from Birmingham to West Brom for 2 million. So he went for some money as a goalkeeper. That's good money, especially back in that day. So I think he went on to have a good career. I might be wrong with that, but that's what I thought.
Yeah, we'll let you have that one, Adey.
Thanks. I'm glad you did.
Let's be
we've
honest,
done that.
goalkeepers often play, get into the more twilight years, don't they? 38, 36 is, so if he's left when he's 20, 26, it's still quite young.
Yeah, well, he did. I mean, he was quite young when he did leave. I can't remember. I'll go back to see how old he was, but he was still only reasonably young, 27 when he left us. And obviously, he still got two. He got another £2 million moves after he'd left us for £3.5 million. So, I think it was good move. Has Paul gone to Hull fair? Well, he might have done, Louise. He doesn't seem to be there. Eldin Jakupovic. Now, he did well with us, but I thought, personally, he didn't fit the brief totally. That was my thoughts. But I might be being unfair to Jez.
I can't remember exactly how old he was when he joined us.
I mean, I'll check it, but I would say Eldin Jakupovic is one that we let go when we dropped out the Premier League, which was expected, and that was the time for all parties to move on. But he just made the wrong move.
Yeah, I think that thing that he did, he when he left us, his career didn't develop, did it? Because he was on the bench for Leicester for quite some time, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was third choice, wasn't he? I think.
Yeah. So that's why I liked Eldin. I can see where Jez is coming from, because he was definitely a fan favourite, but he didn't go on to better things, did he? That was the problem. And he was 31 when he left. So yeah, maybe just slightly out of there.
Good shout there.
Very good shout. We'll come back to some of these in a bit. Have we got Paul back yet? No, we haven't. No. I might just message you and say, come on your phone. Let me see if I can do that. Well, keep talking amongst yourselves. Come on.
Should we go to the next position then?
Yes.
Right back. If we go to right back, because this is the one I struggled with, I think the most.
Me too.
And I've gone, and I think he's still there and doing okay at Doncaster, I think it is. So I've gone for Tom Nixon. Quite a interesting. I think it's only a couple of years ago when he went, isn't it? But yeah, that's the only one I can really think of.
Yeah. What you gone, Joe?
Well, I've bent the rules a little bit and gone for a left back there, because we've got a lot of left backs.
You can bend the rules because some of them left backs do play right back as well.
So this one doesn't, though. So I put Josh Tymon in there, who was, he came through as a lad. There was a whole debacle about his contract in the Premier League. We got relegated. He stayed in the Prem with Stoke, and he's now a solid champ player. His career hasn't flown, but he's had a very, very good championship career, and that warrants a place in this 11 for me.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with what you've said. Josh Tymon was on my sheet, and then I changed him. As you know, Josh Tymon was one of my ones that I was mad about going, because I think that he went too early. I think they left us for money, and it didn't make me happy. And that's maybe just me being bitter, but I can be a bit bitter when it comes to Hull City, I'm afraid. I'm not bitter about many things in life, but Hull City things I get very bitter about. So I've put Ola Aina. Is that what you say it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was only with us on loan, though, wasn't he?
He was on loan, but can we not have on loans?
Well, then we've got no choice but to let them go. That's the issue.
He's gone on to do good things.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be our player that we've let go, not one that.
Right, so I'm having Josh Tymon at right back.
Oh, dear.
That's a good shout, Adey. I like that one.
Good shout. I like it. Yeah, good choice, Adey. Well done. Let me just do that.
Get
out. Ola, go away.
I think once we get into the centre halves, there are some pretty nice choices for us.
Yeah,
some good choices. Shall we go for left back first, though?
Yeah. Okay, so my left back, I think he's been mentioned once or twice. I went for Josh Timon in his actual position, but on my bench or notable mentions, I've also got Max Clark and Connor Townsend noted. I think they both did pretty well. Connor's probably had the better career since leaving Hull City, but yeah, they're the other two.
Well, I did have
100%.
Josh Timon as my left back, and I changed him because I thought, you know what? You can't have anybody else but Andy Robertson, can you?
That's a good shout. We did get him very young, to be honest.
Got him very young. I remember that young photo with Harry Maguire. Another one that I'll mention in a minute. Yes, they was both very young when they came to us, and he's gone on to have a massively great career. He's won the Champions League. He's won the league title. What more can you ask for of a player that's gone from us to somewhere? Let him go far too cheap, but he's gone on to have an absolutely amazing career. Scotland captain. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Just need Liverpool to sell him now, just in case we put a sell-on clause in there.
I went for Connor Townsend because, well, out of the two you said in reserve to Timon, Chris, that's what I'll tackle first. I think Connor Townsend has by far and away had a better career than Max Clark. Connor Townsend, who went to my school actually years before I got there. He went for, obviously, Scunthorpe first, made his name, West Brom, and stabilised in the Championship. And then he had a year in the Premier League with West Brom as well. And then Ipswich last year in the Premier League. And he's obviously this season had an unfortunate injury, ACL. Wish him all the best. Max Clark is a consideration, but the dynamic is, if he hadn't have come back to Hull City, you could have said, yeah, he's gone and done all right. But when he left Vitesse and came back to us for half of the season, didn't play any minutes, then went to Fleetwood, then Rochdale, then Stevenage, then Gillingham, that's not gone on and surpassed us per se. So that's why I've gone for Connor Townsend.
I think Max Clark was a little bit of a disappointing one for me, because I think that he was starting to come into his own with Hull City. And I think there was something that he didn't get on with a manager or something there why he didn't get considered. But I think he could have gone on to quite good things, could Max Clark. But I agree with what you said, Joe. He's not gone and excelled as much as he could have done. At this point, I think it's right that we bring Paul in because Paul's there and finally got with us. He's on his phone by the looks of it. He's had some computer issues tonight. So tell us, who's your goalkeeper then, Paul?
Well, I struggled, to be fair, with the goalkeeper. I really did. I couldn't really. So I've gone for one who probably went down rather than up. Steve Wilson. He was a good keeper for us, and he went to Macclesfield. I don't think he went particularly upwards, but he was a good keeper for us. As I say, I struggled a little bit with the keeper, so that's why I went for him.
We have got your comments, by the way, and all these comments will be shown as we get to some of these people that are that you're talking about on your comments. So we'll get them up. Don't worry, we're not forgetting about them. We'll get them up there. We've said our left back and right back, Paul. So can you say yours?
Well, I've gone with Josh Timon. It could have been Connor, what's his name, but I went for Josh Timon. He's done quite well where he has. I mean, he's been with Stoke. He was with Stoke quite a long while. Did okay there. So I went with him. And I've got a bit off the radar with the right back because, again, I was struggling to find one I really thinking. Brentford have turned Keane Lewis Potter into a bit of defensive player, so I put Keane Lewis Potter at right back.
I did think about doing something like that. I did, Paul. So you've been a bit crafty, but guess what? We're going to let you have it. We are.
Thank you.
We're going to let you have it because he has played as a. I think he's played more left back than right back.
I think he has, yeah, but he is right-footed, so I put him on the right.
We'll let you have him. I mean, he might play well as right back, and it's maybe something that Brentford will go on to try now that you've mentioned it. You never know, do you?
I doubt it, but yeah.
going well at the moment, and I thought this, it's difficult, this one, and I like what Chris has done this week. I think it's a really good one. Well done, Chris, for coming up with it, and it's something that keeps us going because obviously we've had the international break. We will talk about the upcoming game that we've got on Saturday, Birmingham away. I've got my ticket. I'll be down there. St Andrews, is it still called, Joe? Yeah, I'll be down at St Andrews.
Then we've got Leicester at home on Tuesday, haven't we?
We have. So we've got a couple of things to talk about here on the show tonight. But we'll get back into centre-backs. And I'm going to let Joe go first.
Okay. So my centre-backs, I have gone for Liam Cooper.
It's a good call.
And Sonny Bradley.
Yeah, he's not a bad call either.
Cooper, although he went and captained Adey Dubs as the team that play in white from
West Yorkshire.
The west part of Yorkshire.
Don't say anything wrong here, Joe. The team that play in white from West Yorkshire. Good, thank you. Yeah.
He's captained a team in the Premier League. He's gone and played for Scotland. And although he's in the wilderness a little bit at the minute after his move to Sheffield Wednesday fell through because, well, the finances at that football club are a complete mess. He's still had a very good career and he will be back in English football at some point before he retires. And then Sonny Bradley, he's spent a lot of his career in the Championship. He's won promotion to the Premier League with Luton Town, and they just didn't keep him on to lead and captain that side that he captained all the way through the divisions into the Premier League, but still had a very good career. And they're two players that I think we can definitely say were let go too early by Hull City with hindsight.
Okay. Chris.
Yeah, the two you've mentioned, Joe, were my two subs or notable mentions, whatever you want to call it, for similar reasons. The two I've gone for, and they need no introduction, Damien Delaney and Jacob Greaves.
Good choices.
I considered Greavesy.
I mean, it's not just a player we let go too early. He's fully homegrown, isn't he? Hull lad, come through our academy, and just he's done us proud. So,
but
look forward to him coming back and, wearing the blue of Ipswich. But yeah, he's gone on and he's played a season in the Premiership. But for his age, he's an outstanding centre back, isn't he? And he's got years ahead of him.
Do you think he left too early then, Chris?
Yeah, I think he's one of the players where if he'd have stayed, okay, we might not have had Charlie, but I think if you look at the couple of years since we sent him out on loan and he came back and he just grew and got better and better, I think he's another player like a KLP that if we'd have kept him for a couple of years and built a team around him, that could have helped us get to the Premiership.
I think it's a good call. So Damien Delaney and Jacob Greaves. Paul.
Well, I've gone Liam Cooper and Jacob Greaves. I think Liam Cooper's, had a good career, I think, at the team we don't mention. He's captained them. He's been pretty steady all the time. As Joe said, at the moment, things aren't going well for him. But, he probably did leave too early for us, or we got rid of him too early because he's had a good career, and it's a bit of a shame.
I think, when he went.
No, it's not a major age, is it, 21?
Not for a defender, no.
I think we did let him go too early. Obviously, Jacob Greaves, I don't know. It's hard. He went to a team that was always going to struggle in the Premiership, didn't he? That's the problem. But obviously, his wages have gone up. So, it's hard to say in this day and age. I think the wages have more to do with it as much as out else, to be quite honest. If we'd have offered him them wages, I'm sure he'd have stayed. But we weren't going to, was we? So
I'm not sure about that one.
Well, it maybe won't, but I think
if there wasn't a change of manager to a certain Mr. Walter, then there might have been a chance he could have stuck around another year.
I don't think it was ever going to be honest. I think it was just a case,
if you look at the season before, and I went to watch Hull City, I think it was against Grimsby, and we played Grimsby and Jacob Greaves was sat a few seats away from us in the stands with Mark. And I thought that year he might have been going and he stayed. There was a little fake injury when we played Grimsby and he didn't play for some reason. And then all of a sudden he's back in the team. And I thought it was going to go that year, but it went the year later. So I do think there was maybe something in the offing there that didn't quite come off on that season. And then he went when he went. Obviously, you know, he's a great defender and he's in mine. He's one of my centre halves along with Harry Maguire because Harry signed for us very young. He then goes to Leicester. We get quite a bit of money. We then get a good sell on when he goes to Man United for 80 million. And I know the last few years he's not been as prolific at Man United, but he went for a lot of money. He's played for England numerous times. He's scored for England. And so that's my reasons for having Jacob Greaves and Harry Maguire as my two centre halves. I did write down before Harry Maguire, Damien Delaney, and I wrote down Michael Turner as well before I got that. I have got Liam Cooper on my subs bench. I'll tell you what else I've got on my subs bench that hasn't been mentioned yet. Is James Chester.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
I think I've lost the plot here because I was just going for people who've been through our academy. So yeah, I've lost the plot a little bit here.
Adey, have you got Abdoulaye Faye on your list as well?
I haven't, no. But no, I thought that there was, listen, I thought there was worth a mention. It's them people that, you want to give a mention to. And I think that Chester came into us quite young. And I know he wasn't part of the academy, but he did come in young. And, I think we developed him and he went on to be better. And for his height, he was a good centre-back because he was quite small as a centre-back, but he did really well at centre-back for us. So that's why I think he gets a mention tonight.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, not wrong with that. I don't have any argument with this. My team won't look as strong as your team.
Well, my team's going to beat your team, Paul. That's what's going to happen.
Definitely.
My team is going to be the winning team. Come on. I'm just seeing if there's any defenders in any of the comments. No, I can't see anything there. I can see Marshall's put problem with Cooper and Kearney is the players we had in their positions.
Yeah, very true.
Better. If they hadn't left, they wouldn't have developed. And that's the way it goes. He's right. Marsh is right in what he says. It is the way it goes. So let's get on to our midfield and people who have done this in a different way, I'm sure. And have you got 4? Have you got 3? Have you got 5? Joe's got 3.
3 for me.
3.
I got 2. I've gone for a kind of a 4-4-1-1 or a 4-4-2 sort of formation.
Yeah, I've done the same as you, Chris. I've gone 4-4, probably 1-1 is what I've gone. So let's have your 4 then, Chris.
What we're doing, the full midfield.
Let's do the full midfield.
So on the right wing, I've gone for a certain Mr. Dan James, local
I like
lad.
that.
Started in our academy.
Been mentioned somewhere up there. There you go. Oliver mentioned Dan James. Does he fit the criteria? He does fit the criteria.
Depends whose criteria it is. It does fit Adey's.
Anybody fits Adey's criteria.
I think Ronaldo might be his strike here.
So,
he can go off people, Paul,
my left wing, Keane Lewis Potter. And
can't argue with that.
My 2 central midfielders, Tom Kearney, and not necessarily going to have an amazing career, but I thought he did well, Daniel Batty.
Yeah.
Ooh, Batty.
I like
he went to Fleetwood after us, didn't he? And he was there when Max Clark was there. I haven't tracked his career since then, so I don't know where he's at. But
he's in the National League. When he left Fleetwood, he went to York in the National League, and that's where he remains.
Yeah, I've gone for him just because he's, come for our academy and one of our homegrown players. Obviously, there's others that you could have put in there, but that's who I've gone for.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. So that's your 4.
Yep.
People are going to shout at me for my 4, I'm sure. It always happens, so it might as well just happen. I might as well just keep it. So I've gone for Tom Kearney think he was great. He's obviously gone on to do great things, played in the Premier League for quite a while, so he was good. I've gone the other side of the midfield, and this is one that I think people might shout me for. Keith Andrews. He wasn't massively young when he was with us, but he was reasonably young.
Came from Wolves, right?
Yeah. And I think he was a good midfielder. He went on to have a good career after he left us, and he's now a pundit on the TV.
Nah, he's Brentford
manager. Brentford's manager, isn't he?
Well, there you go. Brentford manager now. Was a pundit on the TV. So, I think I can have him, can't I?
Well, you've got him, obviously.
Why not?
Was he? I think he was on loan, wasn't he? And didn't we shout at you for Olorina? No, he was a permanent player.
No, he was ours, I'm sure.
He was. We bought him from Wolves. He was definitely.
Yeah, I just checked myself. He was a permanent player.
Thank you. I'll have him. Take him, Adey. Keep him well and let him have him.
I think when we've done these 11, you're going to have about 120 injunctions like Man City.
Listen, I've got a good lawyer. So have Man City, allegedly. So on my wings, I've gone for Jared Bowen on one wing and Robbie Brady on the other wing.
Mixing it up
a bit. Is anybody shouting at me for any of these? Joe, you was looking as though you was going to shout at me.
No, not at all.
Good. I'm just getting away with it, Adey. You're doing all right, son. Come on then, let's have your three, Joe.
So, two of mine slightly flout the rules, I would say, but I've put them in there to make
Don't worry, I've flouted the rules all night.
So the first is Tom Kearney, which we've discussed. He's gone on, and today he's made 148 Premier League appearances. Only 11 of them were with Hull City. So if you do a quick bit of maths, that's 137 of them after he's left Hull City. He's a club legend at Fulham. He's been captain of Scotland. He's someone who has done awfully well, having come through our academy.
Yeah.
Now, two I was thinking of here were Xavier Simons, because I think he will be back in the Championship at some point, and I think there's a debate about whether we should have let him go or not in the summer. This was pre-restrictions and it's become apparent that we had to let people go when we did. And
I like that, and I did look at him. I really like Simons. I think that we shouldn't have done what we've done with Simons. I think he could have been a player for us.
And because this transfer went so well, Reda Lalawi. But we kind of had no choice. We kind of had no choice but to let him go. And in the eyes of the law and the EFL, was he really ours? But they're my two aside. So one I've gone for is Marcus Henriksen, who joined us when he was 23, 24. So that's not, it's still developing, and he was still a young player when he signed for us. But the reason I've put him in is because I think the whole way that his departure went down, with McCann not being allowed to use him and contract saga because Ehab didn't want to pay him something that would trigger X, Y, or Z. I think Henriksen could have been very useful for us that season, especially when we lost Bowen and Grzycki. And, his experience would have helped out the younger players that we brought in to try and replace those two. And then the other one I went for is someone who definitely wasn't young when he joined us. I think he joined us when he was about 27. Or how old would he have been? Let's do some quick. Yeah, 27. It's Mo Diame, because he scored that brilliant goal at Wembley, and even though he's not particularly young when we signed him, he went on, signed for Newcastle, and within a couple of years, within a year, he was in a higher division than us again. And I think he should have, if he had anything about him, I think he would have stayed for the Premier League year, having scored the goal that he scored to take us up. But money talked, and that's where he went. So I would have liked to have seen him. I would like to have seen him in the Premier League for Hull City again. But
I like some of these that you're doing, Joe, by the way, and I like some of these things that people are coming out with, because even though some of them are a little bit like, left of centre, it's
You mean cheating?
It's mixing it up a little bit and giving a few names when most of the team sheets could have been the same if we'd have, stuck to Chris's
If
very
we'd have
rigid
stuck to the
rules.
rules.
Yeah.
So I'll let
I
you
think-
have 4 of them then, Joe. I think Modi Army's borderline, but
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
you
I
do
think
all of them was borderline.
To be honest with you, I think Laloui is the worst one of the lot, because again we had no choice but to let him go. And although I think he will be back, there's a whole other layer to it where it's totally out of the players' hands and in a sense out of the club's hands, which makes it a little.
And who's
bit
on your
difficult. And he
suspense?
never actually played.
Zambrano.
Well, the thing with that is that's only a loan, so it just ended. However, Maribor exists, so
we'll get him back.
Paul, your go.
Well, I was going to put Giovanni in because everybody else seems to be taking the Mickey. So, and he scored our first goal in the Premiership, didn't he? So, but I haven't put him in. I've put Tom Kearney in like everybody else. You can't dispute he's done really well at Fulham. We shouldn't have let him go. Whether they had more players, better I don't know if they did have better players. I don't think he was given a lot of chance, to be quite honest.
I agree
A
with
lot
you.
of time he was substitute.
I think that was that was the problem around that time. We didn't tend to let young players have a big enough chance with us, and I think possibly he did go when he could have done a job for us.
And the year that
he's been
Kearney
very
went
good
off,
for Fulham.
we did sign Huddleston, Livermore. We had Myler.
Yeah.
So and then I think he went out on loan to Blackburn first. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then the year that he was actually sold, or the year after he went, whenever it was, we brought Ben Arthur in the summer, which went well. Ramirez in the summer, which went well. Diame, which did actually go quite well. But it's a shame for Kearney.
I feel a bit sorry for Tom Kearney, but he's probably quite happy where he is now. So, the other two, I think we're both actually from our academies. So they might not. Dan Batty was one of them. Who obviously I think he's done all right. And Adam Boulder, I was really struggling, to be honest, to find anybody.
Adam Boulder's a really good shout, to be fair. That's a really good shout, is Adam Boulder.
Is he still involved with Ferriby at the minute?
He could be.
I don't think he is in a playing capacity. I think he's registered in case they need a body, but he's not week in, week out anymore.
No, I just think within the club, because was he player manager when he first went into something? Or
well, his brother Chris is the gaffer. So yeah. There's still a link there for sure.
Yeah.
So with my three.
That's your three. So
yeah, they got rid of Giovanni. I don't know how he didn't get in the team, but there you go. That's one of those things, isn't it?
Joe and Paul, you've both got 3 up front. So, Joe, do you want to go for your 3?
Yeah, well, my 2 wingers have already been said. I think it was Chris that put them both in, Dan James and Keane Lewis Potter. And this is where I'm going to go with the argument about Greaves and etc. as to why I didn't put him, Robertson, Maguire, etc. in. Although they have gone on and had fantastic careers, I think they all left at the right time. Like when we got relegated from the Premier League, when there was that exodus of players, Maguire was always going to go, and he went on and got Leicester's player of the season the next year. And then a couple of years later, commanded an £80 million record fee for a defender. So I think those left at the right time. It didn't look initially as if Robertson had made the right move, but it worked out in the end. He broke through into the team under Jurgen Klopp. And the same can be said for Greaves. I think there was a better move for him out there. But with Keane Lewis Potter, I think there is definitely credence to the argument that he left a year too early. 100%. It's worked out in the end, as it did with Robertson. It just took a little bit longer for Keano than than it did for Andy Robertson. But he's been shifted into a wing back, a full back, and he's not scoring as many goals as we perhaps thought he would. But Keane Lewis-Potter is still a fantastic young player, and there is still the argument, which I think holds weight, definitely, that he could have stayed another year. And Adjan wanted to. He wanted to triple his salary for him to stay an extra year. But the agent spoke and Brentford came calling and he got a mega contract there, which I'm sure he's not done too bad out of. And then Dan James, well, how old was he when he left City? He was about 14 when he went to Swansea, was it? Something like that.
16, I think.
And well, he played for Man United. He's playing at that same team that Liam Cooper captained, that playing white in West Yorkshire. And he's had a good career, hasn't he? He might not be the greatest player, but he's had a good career. He's quick. He's got something about him. And he always seems to do well when he plays Hull City, annoyingly.
And what about your striker, Joe?
My striker? Well, this one's been in the comments, and I thought this was a really niche one that I'd picked until someone else said it almost immediately. And I've gone for a certain Mr. Dean Windass because
I've got him on my bench.
He has been he was released a couple of times by Hull City, was Dean Windass as a kid, and then he picked himself back up, dusted himself off, worked his way back in, and after impressing, he was sold to Aberdeen in a move that pretty much kept the club afloat for, I think it was around about £700,000.
In them days, it was a lot of money, Joe.
So he went on, did brilliant things, scored in the Premier League for Bradford, for Middlesbrough. He had a fantastic career. Then he went back to Bradford after a stint at Sheffield United that didn't work out. That, if you've never seen Dino speak, he speaks so utterly fondly of his time at Sheffield United under a certain Mr. Neil Warnock, a man who he says has such a vast knowledge of football, you could write it all on the back of a stamp. After that whole palaver, he came back to Hull City. So it all worked out nicely in the end. He left, he came back, he left again, went and had his good career, then came back and scored the most famous goal in Hull City history. So he fits the bill nicely for my striker.
Let's come on to you then, Paul, because you've got 3 as well.
Yeah, I've gone Dan James. I mean, he's played for Wales. He's had a really good career, hasn't he? Still doing well. I think he was missed by Wales the other night when he didn't play. So he's a good player. I mean, obviously, he went very young from us, so we probably wouldn't have seen any of his potential. Well, maybe seen his potential, but for some reason, we haven't decided to carry on with it. But obviously, he's had a good career as Dan James. He gets in the Welsh squad every time. He's a good player, and I think Joe said enough about him. I've got Jared Bowen. Obviously, he's played for England, probably West Ham's best player, and played probably first on the team sheet every week. He was brilliant for us. We really missed him when he went. And a season when I thought we could have pushed for the Premiership, to be honest, if we'd have kept him in Grusicki for the rest of the season. But it won't to be, and he's just gone on leaps and bounds, to be quite honest. I'm surprised he's not in the England squad more regularly, because I think he offers something different. But he's been brilliant as Jared Bowen. And obviously Dino, you've got to put him in. Hull lad, he's had a hell of a career, not necessarily always in the sort of high echelons of the leagues, but he's done really well wherever he's gone. And obviously he scored the goal that got us in the Premiership for the first time. So, it was a must, I think, to be centre forward.
On to you, Chris.
Yeah, so I've kind of got a false 9 and a number 9. Sitting behind, I've got Jared Bowen, just mentioned. I don't need to say any more about that. But my out-and-out number 9, I have gone for a Mr. John Walters. So signed him young.
Like that.
Did okay at Hull City. He was one of those players that didn't have the best goal-scoring record, but he's a bit like a Kyle Joseph now, where just puts his body on the line and he runs around and presses. And I remember him just having an immense work rate. And obviously, when we sold him, I think it was straight to Stoke, and then he had a great career in the Premiership with them and found his goal-scoring boots a bit more frequently. So they're the two I got up front. My other players that I was thinking about, I did have Dean Windass written down, and I've got one other player that he left us very young. I think he flirted with our first team when we were in the lower divisions. He left to go to York, which were, a non-league team, and he's been at a number of clubs since. And I think the highest he was with Birmingham in the Championship, and that's Clayton Donaldson.
Yeah, I looked at him.
Yeah, I did look at Clayton. I think he's a good call. Yeah. Right, well, I'll give you mine, and my 2 could be no other than Dean Windass. He's been mentioned lots of times already tonight, and Dino definitely had to be there. And the other one for me was KLP, because I was trying to, I wasn't trying to fit him in. I had him somewhere else, but then I wanted another player there, so I just thought, right, KLP can play up front, he can play on the wing, he can play at the left back, he can play wherever he wants, to be honest, because he's that good. So KLP and Dean Windass was my strike partnership, and I think they'd have been a very good strike partnership, to be quite honest with you. You'd have liked to have seen that as a Hull City fan. Obviously, Dino just a little bit too old to play with KLP in his prime, so one of them things that couldn't happen. But in my team, I make the rules, and yes, I had them two together tonight. And that's
get Giovanni in then, Eddie, in your team. I would have thought you'd have
couldn't get Giovanni in. I did have, I don't know if I mentioned Michael Turner, but Michael Turner was on my subs bench, and I did have Jonathan Walters as well on my subs bench, because he was in my starting 11, but I crossed him out and changed him around because I just thought I wanted to get Jared Bowen in there, and I had to take Jonathan out and put him on my subs bench. So that's how it works for me. But I think a really good thing tonight. And whether we've flouted the rules or done whatever, we've mentioned some good players that have all played for Hull City and have all gone on to have more or less really good careers. And we've all probably watched them from afar and enjoyed watching them. We're still enjoying watching some of these players now, like your Jared Bowens and your KLPs, still doing really well. Andy Robertson still doing quite well. Maguire maybe not so much, but there's still quite a lot that we're watching that are doing really well in the teams that they're in at the moment.
I think Bowen is the perfect example of a player who timed the move exactly right and got the move exactly right. I think it would have been very easy for him to go summer 2018, January 2019. He did the whole celebration. I think it was Swansea where he sort of pointed to the ground and whatever you and went like, I'm staying here, tap the badge, that kind of thing. It would have been very easy for him to go in the summer of 2019 as well. But he stayed, saw it out under Grant McCann, finished the season as our top scorer, despite only playing half of it and not scoring for the last month that he was a Hull City player. But he got the move right. I don't think it was a move he was expecting, given that he tells the story of turning up to training ground on the morning, having his breakfast, then Grant McCann telling him, politely, Jared, what on earth are you doing here? We've accepted a bid from West Ham, skedaddle. And he got the move spot on. He's a club legend at West Ham. He scored the winning goal in a European final. I wrote down how many caps he's got for England, actually. Where is he? He's got 19 caps for England so far. 1 goal that he scored last year. He's got just shy of 250 games in the Premier League. Scored over 50 Premier League goals. Was part of the England squad that got to the Euros final last year. Not last year, year before. Yeah, it was last year, wasn't it? Sorry. He's gone on and had a perfect career. And I think I think there'll be clubs sniffing around him sooner rather than later, given the predicament West Ham find themselves in, especially if they go down, which I don't think they will.
He's a good example to any young player that's coming through to try and look at what Jared Bowen has done and to see how well Jared Bowen's done. His work ethic was really good. He just seems to have done all the right things in his career. And, he's had a great career. And I'm sure he's still got a bit more in front of him, to be honest.
I can see Liverpool going in for him with Salah just having the last years of his career.
And Louise might be right. Danny Dyer, I don't know which one, whether Big or his wife, Danny Dyer, would definitely kill him if he left West Ham. So that's a very good point. Well made. We've got 4 minutes left, believe it or not. Just 4 minutes left on the show. I know it's flown by. We've had a good night. Thanks for your watching. Thanks for all your comments tonight. Liam Delap's sort of my thing. I try and put loans in Sarah, so no, you can't have him is the thing. That's what I've been told.
He has. He's a world champion since he's left Hull City. He's won the Club World Cup in his first 3 games for Chelsea, so I think he counts. But was he ever ours?
No, it was never ours. But we've got a game against Birmingham.
Fraser Campbell.
Fraser Campbell, what hours are there?
I don't know what you said about loans.
Yeah, well, Fraser Campbell was a very good loan. Let's get on to this Birmingham game on Saturday because we haven't got long left on the show. 3 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm going to Birmingham. What are we going to expect, Paul?
Well, I don't expect anything necessarily. I hope for a win. I would take a draw, to be quite honest. I won't be unhappy with a draw. I think, after an international break, you're always a bit worried about things, because people have been away and they've obviously had a few days off. I don't know. I think I won't be unhappy with a draw at Birmingham, to be quite honest. I want a win, but I won't be crying if we got a draw. I think we can get to 20 points by the next international break, by hook or by crook. I will be happy because I think,
Right, on to you, Joe. We've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Well, I think I'd first of all say Liam Miller's got a couple of decent minutes at the international break, so I wouldn't expect him to be heavily involved. Given the travel, he'll probably only get back late tonight, early tomorrow morning, and jet lag and what have you. So I don't think he'll feature much, but he's had some good minutes into his legs, and that's the main thing. As for Birmingham, I thought they'd be a bit better than they have been this year. They've had a good summer window, but Kyogo Furuhashi has been, he was the best player by far and by some distance in Scotland, and he's not really done an awful lot for them. But there's a decent platform for Birmingham to build from there, coming up from League One. So I don't think any game will be easy in the Championship. It never is, but hopefully we can go there and get a result. I'd be happy with
on the same points at the moment, Chris. Has the international break come at the right time for us?
It depends how you spin it. It's either one where you get a chance to have some time on the training ground, or it's carrying momentum. I'm hoping we can carry a bit of momentum that we're starting to gather. Hopefully they're able to get another clean sheet and steady the defence up. So I'll be happy with a tight 1-0, 2-1 win.
Yeah, well, both Louise and Sarah going for 2-1 wins. I'm going on Saturday. I was surprised to see that Shemi Ajayi had played the full 90 minutes in his game when he's just come back from injury. I don't see him coming into the first 11. I think he'll be on the bench. I think I would stick with the defence as it is. Liam Miller's going to be on the bench as well. I agree with you, Joe. He's travelled a long way. But we have started to come a little bit better than we were. 15th in the league looks a lot better than we did. So we'll go there with a bit of confidence. And I will say the same as you, Paul. I won't be unhappy with a draw at St Andrews. 3:00 kickoff on Saturday. I haven't got time to talk about the game next Tuesday, unfortunately, because we've only got very short time left on the show. Thank you very much for watching us. It's been really good to have you tuned in tonight. We'll be back next Wednesday to discuss the game that we've had on Tuesday night. We'll also go a little bit into the Birmingham game as well. We need to thank our sponsors, don't we, Joe?
I certainly do. The carmustgo.co.uk, new sponsors of the show on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, it is. And we'll be back next week with the carmusgo.co.uk. And I hope you can join us then. Thanks to you, Joe.
Thank you very much. Nice to be back.
Thanks to you, Paul. Yeah, and thanks to you, Chris.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good evening, and we'll see you next week.